Welcome back to the Travels with Kev podcast. I am Kev, and I am here to help you get on track with your travels. In today's episode, we are going to talk about how to lock and unlock your Amtrak accommodations, plus what to do when you need to leave your room to keep your stuff as safe as possible. I am starting something new. I'm starting to do video podcast. And so this is the audio form. This is my first time doing it. And when I talk about locking the doors, if it doesn't make sense in this podcast part, I will link in the show notes to the specific areas of locking the door. But it could also be a great reminder. So sit back and enjoy as our normal podcast is already going. Are you on an Amtrak train right now and not for sure how to lock the door? If you are, you're in the right spot. A little jealous. Wish I was on a train right now. If you're not, you can watch anyway. It is okay. So that way, then when you go on your trip, you know how to lock the door. You will be ahead of everybody else. Let's get into this. So there are something you need to know before we actually do get into the nuts and bolts of this. There are two different locks that you can encounter within the Amtrak system. The first one I'm going to talk about is the one that's more widely found. It is found on the Superliner cars. That's the Amtrak signature car, the two-story cars, roomettes up on the top with the bedrooms and all that fun stuff. Those cars and the older Viewliners. So those are the single layer cars that have the blue floors and white interior or white walls. At least they did. I'm recording this in 2025, so things could change in the future. I'll try to update it if it does. But if you're in those two types of cars, the first segment I show you, that one applies to you. If you're not, you can either skip ahead or learn about it anyway. The second one is for the Viewliner. They're called Viewliner 2s. Those are the newer Viewliner cars. Those are the ones with the burgundy interior and the wood grain. If that's your car, like I said, I'm covering that second. After I cover out how to lock your door, I'm going to talk about what to do if you need to leave your car. Because you can only lock the door from the inside. You cannot lock it from the outside. So we'll talk about what I do to keep my stuff safe. All right, so let's get it. So in this case, it is a two-step process. So you just pull that little lever down over the pin, make sure that the door is shut tight, and then you just flip that secondary lever over. That keeps everything in place. To unlock it, you just flip that over and pop up the other side. Like I said, make sure the door is closed tightly, and just repeat that. And that's all you need to do for those. For the second one, just make sure, I'm not for sure that the audio and the video is going to line up, but just make sure that the door is solidly closed and then turn the knob. Up is open, horizontal, so open, locked, open, locked. So if you locked it and it didn't catch, that means that you didn't have the door closed tight enough. See, that's simple enough. I knew you could do it. You need to know you can do it. All right, so let's talk about what I do if I need to leave my room. So if I just need to head to the loo, or skip to my loo, I usually don't skip on the train, okay? But if I need to use the restroom or something short, often I have my computer and my iPad. There's pillows in the room. Usually I just tuck them behind there or underneath the blanket, underneath my coat, just so things aren't in view. And then there is a curtain. I just make sure all the curtains are closed on the interior side of my room. Now, if I have to go away, let's say I'm going to go to the dining car to get the Amtrak signature steak. Hopefully, the little butter cakes are still there. If you get a chance to get those are my favorite. If you can get it warmed and a little whipped cream on it, it's amazing. Not good for you. A lot of sugar, but they're amazing. So if you need to leave, what I normally do with my gear is, like I say, I usually have a computer, my iPad. I put them in the closet if I'm in a room with a closet. Also, too, there's the ones with a hook. I just put them in there and I throw my jacket on top, just so things are just not not readily available on site. The other thing that I do with my valuables too, those items are usually my main valuable things. I'll put them in my backpack and slide it underneath my seat. You just don't want stuff in plain view. And like I said before, then you close all the curtains. There is Velcro on the edge of the door that you can secure, and then close the door. The door might swing open during the trip, but at least then it's less obvious what you have in your room. As my dad always says, if it does not look like you have anything, people will assume you don't, right? I try to assume people are honest. The other thing to remember is only people with sleeping car accommodations are allowed in the sleeping car. So there is just less traffic. So that's about it, for locking the doors and just some quick little what you can do with your valuables when you leave. If something's uber valuable, the problem with taking my backpack that has my stuff in it with me to the dining car, if that's where I'm going, is there's not a lot of room in the dining car. So if you have something, I guess, uber valuable, have your meals in your room. So we covered how to lock the doors and that. So hopefully you learned something. Hopefully, possibly were entertained. Hopefully this answers your question, and if it doesn't, you can always reach out to me. But check out, if you get a chance, check out travelswithkev.com. There's more information about how to travel on Amtrak. I break down the different room types, talk about some of the storage stuff. When it comes to it, I talk about the foods, the route guides, and stuff like that. There's the basics that you need to know is found on that website, and if you don't find it, let me know. I might have missed something. If you want to hear more from me, I have a newsletter, travelswithkev.com/newsletter. That will get where you can sign up every Thursday, providing it doesn't go to your spam box. I put out an email, a little bit about what I'm doing for those who are interested, and either some news or some tips of what's going on in rail travel within the United States and Canada. Last thing is I have a great group of patrons over on Patreon. If you're interested, you can join those for $5 a month. You can get a postcard from me, and it will go to you. There are certain people watching this video who will know who I'm borrowing that from. If you don't, that's okay. But you can join Patreon or else go to travelswithkev /support if you're interested in supporting the work that I do, that you find some value in it. I hope you do. Thank you, and so long. This is Kev signing off. Out.
Thanks for listening to the Travel with Kev podcast.